you. And, it's been a long-awaited day for me personally,
Oh,
to have
oh,
some
please.
great time, to spend some great time with you and to learn more from you in terms of what you've been doing for the longer period of your life and the longer period of your time that you have around the clock. So before we go into anything, I would just like to introduce you, and there is a short clip that I would like to play.
Wow.
This
Okay.
is the clip, yeah, that will give us the foundation of what we are going to talk about, because it is
Terrific.
the TEDx talk that you had, and there's a voice. I just captured a section of it, and I tried
Wow.
to
Thank
edit
you.
so that, yeah. So I just hope it will behave itself.
Science and psychology of giving. Giving reduces anxiety and stress, and it makes us happy. Together, we can all start small, and we can make the world a happier world, one give, one day at a time.
That's definitely what I wanted to play before we get into this conversation, Jacqueline. And as you've heard what you're talking about there, it's about giving, and it's about, what giving does in a.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to introduce you a little bit, I know you as an inspirational keynote speaker and a top 100 TEDx speaker as well. And above all, you are the founder of 365 Give. And I want the listeners and the audience to mark the word 365 because it's got a meaning, a
Mm-hmm.
greater meaning. Jacqueline will discuss with us tonight, as well as you. I know you as the director of operations at JMS Media. So, Jacqueline, to start us off, there is an article that you wrote recently, or the most recently, about best ways of getting back to your path. And I would really like to see you analyze this process and the key words in the way or the path that a person needs to understand in getting back to your path towards success, Jacqueline.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And I'm so excited to be here with everybody, and especially you. This conversation is a long time in coming. I feel like we're already family, which is amazing. So thank you so much. And just to have this one-on-one personal time is such a gift. I talk a lot about happiness. I talk about a lot about personal happiness and, staying in your own lane of life. I think that not many of us, almost all of us, we get so stuck in what's happening in the world, whether that's at a global scale, it's at a city scale, it's at a personal scale, and everything that evolves around our life. And it's how we choose to look at it. And, the conversations around mindfulness and perspective, and how we view the world and what lens we see the world. It's really topic of conversation in so many levels these days. And I've been very blessed that with my TED Talk, and the title is really interesting for me, How to Be Happy Every Day, It Will Change the World. What we do with 365 Give is changing the world, because our main goal is helping people understand how they can make an impact on the world. No matter where you live, no matter what your religion, no matter what your skin color, no matter anything, I believe we can truly all make an impact on the world. And so the neat thing is that you then can move into happiness. And so when we give, it creates happiness both in ourselves and anything that we touch. And that can be touching other people, it can be touching the planet, it can be touching animals. Every time we give, we have that ability to make an impact on another part of literally human life, or just living creatures on our planet, and that includes our planet. And then that creates the ripple. So when you're staying in your own lane and not getting off track, you're basically not getting into other people's business. And that's where our true happiness lies, is when we can connect to what makes us happy. It's actually it's kind of the perfect conversation, because I was just talking to this about with my 12-year-old son. And it's kind of like understanding what your happiness life hacks are. How can you figure out the way to hack your own life to always be in a happy place. Because when you're in a happy place, you're in your lane, you're in your zone, and you're moving towards what you should be moving towards in your life, not getting out of your lane and into somebody else's lane. Because the minute we get into somebody else's lane, it no longer feels good. When you're worried about what somebody else is thinking about you, when you're worried about what your boss is thinking about, when you're worried about doing things in your life that you don't, like doing, or that you're worrying about all the time, you're out of your lane and you're no longer being in the flow and the zone where happiness is going to be your main objective for your life. And then that creates everything else in our life, because when we're happy, we are well in our life. Happiness actually increases both your mental state of being and your physical state of being. When we're happy, we live longer. When we're happy, we're more socially connected. When we're happy, we're less depressed. When we're happy, we're less stressed. So this is all about staying in your own lane. And I talk a lot about personal algorithms. And, because we're on Facebook, it's kind of the perfect thing. People look at Facebook. What are my algorithms? How do I get most seen, most shown, all of those things. I want everybody to go into their social media, take a look what's coming up for you. What's in all of your social media? On YouTube, for me, I know when I go into YouTube, I can literally get it going in the morning, and exactly what I need to hear to get my day going on the right foot and in my lane and on my path is right there waiting for me. And it's same in my Facebook feed. Positivity, things that I need to hear, people that I want to see and what I want to hear from are there. So take a look at your personal algorithms in life. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you creating a flow of positivity, or are you getting stuck in the negative, which gets you out of your life lane?
Wow. That's a very beautiful talk there, Jacqueline. Talking about lanes, and it's something natural that we need not even to be reminded, because there's nothing you can always do without staying in your lane. Staying in lane, basically, or in a layman's language, if you're driving along the road, if you miss your lane, automatically you'll be knocked. If you miss
Absolutely.
your lane, automatically you'll get yourself somewhere else where you didn't plan to be. So the best thing to do at any moment is staying in your lane. And
Absolutely. And you'll know when you're not, because it just doesn't feel good. And it's
yeah,
really that simple. When you're out of your lane, you're feeling stress. When you're out of your lane, you're feeling anxious. When you're out of your lane, you're feeling angry. And that's when you do that self-check and go, exactly what you said. Am I driving in my lane right now, or am I out of it? And our emotions are the best way for us to figure out if we're in that right lane or we're not in our right lane, and we're driving on the side of the road and we're feeling that bump as we go along, or are you all the way over and you're smacking into the car right next to you?
wow. So uh, on line with that, or in line with that, Jacqueline, in as much as we are driving, or we try to stay on our lanes, there are challenges that come with it. There are a lot of challenges that come with it.
Oh,
Sometimes
every
wants
day.
somebody wants to, somebody's showing you headlights. He wants you to move at a certain speed that he's using. Somebody's
Absolutely.
in
Driving
front of
his car, it's much prettier, isn't it? Right? It's red and shiny versus
you.
maybe the old beat up one you're driving.
You're trying to stay on your lane, but somebody's driving very slow, and you're like, those are challenges that come with it. So how do
Absolutely.
you handle these challenges, and how do you always get yourself together not to be distracted by these kind of challenges, Jacqueline?
Absolutely. Well, I always look at this as you have to get ready to be ready. So you're going to get on the highway. You're going to go for a long trip. You got to get ready for that before you get in your car. You got to pack your snacks. You got to have a bottle of water. Make sure your coffee's ready. It's kind of the same concept with life. You've got to be ready to be ready. We know that, I call it contrast, but we know that life challenges are going to come. And that's just the reality, whether it's money, it's relationships, it's work. We know that life challenges are going to come. So how can we get ourselves mentally, physically prepared before we head out for the day? And so I always look at, how can I be ready for the day? So before I even get out in the bed in the morning, the first thing I do before my feet even hit the floor is I start practicing gratitude, because it's really easy, especially in life right now, for us to all take a look at what everybody else has got, those perfect Instagram pictures of the holiday they're in Africa or in Hawaii or wherever else, or the beautiful house they have, or the perfect children. And so you need to start your day in gratitude for what you do have. And I know for some people it's really hard to take a look at that because they may look around and go, well, I'm not living in the house I want to live in, or I'm not driving the car I want to drive in. So start more simple. You got to start really simple. Wake up and say, thank you for another day. Thank you for another day to create what it is I want. Thank you for another day to move towards what I want. Thank you for my feet. Thank you for my arms. Thank you for the ability to see. Thank you for my automatic coffee maker because I thank that one every day when I get up. You know, I even do simple things like thank you for the clean water that comes out of my tap that I get to drink. This morning it was for my dishwasher because really I could be washing my dishes by hand and it would be a lot more work. So thank you for the automation in our life. Thank you for my phone that connects me to the whole world. You know, so it's really starting with the simple things in our life. And finding the gratitude in those simple things so that you're starting your mindset in the right way. And then the next thing that I always do is I set aside 15 minutes in the morning before my kids get up. And just so you know, I start my day early. Like I start at like 4 because then I know I've allowed for this time. I wake up automatically. I don't use an alarm. It's just I'm getting myself ready for my day. So I will sit and I meditate quietly for 15 minutes. Because a lot of times when we get up in the morning, the first thing that happens is we start going through our to-do list. Okay, I'm behind in this project. I haven't done enough on this. I've got to get my kids to school. I've got a dentist appointment. Somebody else has got tutor, and you're away, and that monkey mind of yours is already going before you've even had a chance to kind of be in your own personal space before the day goes. So I start 15 minutes of meditation. I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm not trying to do anything, but I'm training that monkey mind and voice of mine just to settle down a little bit. So that way, I'm getting ahead of my day. When something's coming up, I'm already set calm. I'm not in stress before I've even started my day. And that's a big key one because if we start our day in stress, you're bringing stress to your life all day. It's just going to keep compounding for you. So those are a couple things that I do. And then the next thing that I try and do, it may not happen every day, but as many days as possible, I go get some physical exercise. Even if that's a walk with my dog, down by the ocean or in the forest, I get myself out into nature because when we get ourselves out into nature, we get to move our body, which gets our body circulated and moving. I get the health benefits of that, but I get some more appreciation of the world around us. It's easy to look at the world and think of all the climate change and all the bad that's going on. But when you get out into nature and you actually just stand in appreciation, it connects you on a different level. So you're not focusing again on the bad, but you're focusing on the good in the world. And then your day gets going. So we've now got ourselves ahead of the day before we're even going anywhere. And it gives you a peaceful feeling. It gives you feelings of happiness. And you feel like you've actually accomplished something before you've even done anything. So it's like, okay, check, check, check. I've done 3 things that make me feel really good just for me today. So I've filled my cup before I've headed out into the world, because we know as the day goes on, that cup may get a little bit depleted and lower. And then by the time we go to bed, here's the good news. You get to reset and you get to start all over again the next day. So these are the really neat things about creating habits for yourself that fill you up before you go out and deal with the real world.
That's definitely great to understand from you. And just to add on it, I think it's living a positive mind. It's living
It
a
is.
positive mentality. You know, the world is full of everything, and we have a right of choice. And you know, that's the most important part of life today. That
Mm-hmm.
you've got the right to choose. You can choose to be happy.
Every
You can
moment.
choose to be sad.
Yep.
And you know. What I always believe in is like you better it's better you choose to be sad from inside, something that comes from inside, but not from
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Absolutely.
If all whatever comes outside will bring sadness to you, I always say push it aside. You've got
It
the right.
is. Because if
You've
not,
got
the outside world
the right.
always affects you, right? Well, this is a really interesting part and a piece of knowledge I'm hoping that will help everybody, because
Mm.
science and technology has advanced us so far is we know a couple of things about both our brains and our bodies. And that we are actually, believe it or not, and I say in our case with 365 Give, we're hardwired to give, but we're actually hardwired to be happy. There are chemical and neurotransmitters in our body and our brain that chemically wire us to be happy. And there's one other little piece I'm going to throw in this that most people don't realize. is that, you know, people used to think that our brains were just like this muscle mass, that nothing, you know, ever changed about our brains. But what they're learning about our brains now is that we can actually rewire our brains. And we can do this through creating these habits that calm us down, get us out of our stress, get us out of our anxiety, and we can actually start rewiring the way our brains work. So it's literally growing your brain to happiness. And I always think of it really simply. I call it your daily dose of happiness. And for example, with 365 Give, when you give back to the world, you're kind, you're compassionate, you're putting what I call your happy heart forward into life, where you're putting happiness into action, a really neat chemical reaction happens. So it's your dose. And that's all you have to remember, your daily dose of happy. And it's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and your endorphins. And these are three parts of our body that make us feel happy, make us feel love, make us feel like we can conquer the world. Our endorphins are that runner's high. They literally call it the helper's high. But all of this chemical reaction gives us feelings of happiness. And the really cool thing is, as you elevate your daily dose of happy, what comes down is your cortisol, which is your stress and anxiety. So when you understand that you can actually manufacture in your body feelings of happiness, which will literally change how you physically respond to the world, increases your health, then you can look at it from a different perspective. It's not just all hocus pocus. It's actually proven by science that every day we can add this dose of happiness to our life on how we interact with the world.
Wow, that's very beautiful. Beautifully put, Jacqueline. And in line with that, Jacqueline, I would like to know from you why it is very important uh, to give, and how giving, influences our nature and our being as human beings. Uh, when you give, does it add something into your life? Does it create some happiness into your life? And why call it 365 Give from your side, Jacqueline?
Absolutely. Well, we know for sure that giving, and what I just talked about, it ignites this daily dose of happiness in you. So, and it can be very small. When we talk about giving, we're not talking about being a philanthropist and donating millions of dollars. You don't have to be Bill Gates or anybody like that. Giving can be things that are very small. It can be as simple as picking up garbage on your way to work and helping the planet. It can be helping a neighbor with a task in their yard. It could be bringing in some cookies to work, or a special treat just to elevate everybody's day. So these are very small acts of giving that stimulate this dose factor of happiness in your life every day. But this is the part I really want people to look at, is that at the end of your life, skip to that day when you know, and none of us know when that day is going to be. Really at the end of our life, and my 12-year-old asked me this recently. He said, "Mommy, what's the meaning of life?" Which is always the hard one to answer for anybody. But, you know, we're all here to live a life of meaning, a meaningful life. So on your death's doorstep and on your final day, whether that's tomorrow or it's 50 years from now, when you look back at your life, you can't take your car to your grave with you. You can't take your house to your grave for you. But how have you created a life that was meaningful? What are people going to say, you know, on the side of your grave when they're saying, "Oh, you know, this person was nasty, mean, you know, created unhappiness for everybody"? Or instead, are they saying, "Oh my God, this person impacted lives by just the simple things that they did. They led a meaningful life because of the footprint they did leave, because of the positive impact they did leave." Because every person that we touch in our life, you always need to remember this, you never know how far that ripple is going to go. So even if you're kind or compassionate to one person, you've now changed their world. You've not only changed their day, but you've changed the trajectory, literally, of their life. Now, what if that person goes to touch another 100,000 people in their life, or become one of the world's next greatest leaders, and they touch millions of people? Just by doing one act of giving, you have now in some way changed the whole way the world is working. It's completely different from before that act of giving to after you've done it. So always remember that when you do small acts of giving, you're literally changing the way the world has worked. And that's your legacy. That's your living legacy. Don't wait till you die to give your money away and then that's your legacy. You can actually create that legacy and a meaningful life in every single day.
Beautiful, just beautiful, Jacqueline. And I'm getting to understand that giving has been there each and every single day, and you're calling it
Mm-hmm.
365. And the problem that we are having as a society today is like, when you do something so great, like even giving someone a glass of water, people don't recognize it as a giving. So we really need to get back and start educating people again to understand what is the meaning of giving,
Mm-hmm.
because we are losing it. There are so many
Yes,
things that we can give to the world today, but we are not doing it
absolutely.
because we think that that is
It
not a
has to be
way of giving.
big. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it has to be big.
People
Like,
think it's, yeah, people think it, well, how do I give every day? And I literally, and this is why I gave every day for 365 days. And I did it with my 3-year-old. It's why we call 365 Give. Exactly that, because we believe that giving is so simple. You can do it with your 3-year-old, and not only do it with your 3-year-old, but a 3-year-old can do it. So we actually believe that giving is possible for every single person on our planet every single day of your life. But you have to create a habit of it, and you got to call it out. So, for us, we always say to people that join us and our members and the community we have all over our world, you have to call out, and you can call it 365 Give, you can call it Random Acts of Kindness, whatever it is, or you can just say, I did my give today, because it starts to create a habit for you in your own life, where even if it's something as simple as I held the door open, it becomes a conscious awareness in who you are. And that's the shift that we're really looking at creating for people. Is I'm just not like out there, sometimes I'm nice, sometimes I'm not, it's how can you create that conscious habit of giving every day? Because the really neat thing is it'll start to show up for you in your life really easily. People always say, well, how do I do it every day? Open your eyes. Open your eyes and open your heart, because it will literally come directly at you. And when you start looking at the world from that perspective of how can I be of service? Every single day, how can I be of service of some ways? I guarantee you the garbage is actually going to start landing on your feet to pick up, and that's your contribution. So when you start kind of calling it out and making it your contribution to the world every day, it creates that shift. And not only for you, but if it's to somebody that even sees it. I know I collect garbage down at our beach all of the time, and I know people are seeing it. I don't say anything, I just collect my garbage, but people are actually watching me do this. And what they do know is that giving is literally contagious. So if somebody's watching me pick up garbage, they are more likely to go pick up garbage themselves, whether it's in that minute or an hour later or the next day. And giving actually is contagious. If you smile at somebody, guess what? They're going to smile back. It's that simple, that when we create that habit and we call it out, and we do it in my own family with my own children, even if my kids are sharing together, we literally say, oh, you did your 365 Give today, because it's that sense of pride of, you know what, I did something to contribute back to the world. I did something that gave my life purpose and meaning today.
that's beautiful. Again, there, Jacqueline, as I listen to what you are saying there, and we're just trying to remind, because we are not
Yeah.
teaching. We are voice to remind that
Mm-hmm.
there's so many things that we do. And last time I hosted Corey Waffle here, and he was
Yeah.
talking about, and I asked him that when do you see or feel that you are ready and able to give? To what capacity should someone feel like now I can give to some other people? But the answer was there has never been time to give. The time for giving is now.
Right now. Don't
And
miss
right,
your opportunity. It's right now. Absolutely.
yeah,
It's right now and every day.
yeah,
And every day that goes by that you're not is a day missed. We talk about, life hacks all of the time. It's kind of the Trinity we're going on. What are your life hacks to having a meaningful, happy life? And this one is the really simple one. Giving is that life hack to having a happy life. There's lots of pillars of happiness that you can follow, but what we know for sure is that if you give every day, you're going to find happiness in your life, and you're going to find meaning in your life. So even if you don't know what your purpose is, and you don't know exactly what you want to do with your life or what kind of job you want to have, you can still have a meaningful life by giving every day. And that's what we mean. It's like your life hack. You want to know how to be happy? That's it. Get out into the world, participate, and participate in a way that's going to bring you happiness, because we know it does. And it's going to bring the world happiness as well. and that's the starting place. You don't know where to start to be happy, start there, because that's something that we can all physically, mentally do every day. You can send somebody a note of gratitude on a text first thing in the morning, right? I'm part of a random acts of kindness movement on LinkedIn right now. So every day, and it literally takes me 3 minutes, I make a 1-minute video to a friend of mine on LinkedIn, which is on social. You can do it on Facebook as well. And I send them a direct message, and it's just a video note of gratitude to say how grateful I am for having them in my life and in my world. It takes me 3 minutes of my day. We all have 3 minutes we can find to send somebody a note of gratitude in our life. And that's 3 people. So that's like my 3 daily gives in one day, just by doing 3 1-minute videos. And it's that simple. So it's not about time. It's about where you are in your own life and how you want to move forward to not only make an impact, but how you want to create a happy life for yourself, because really that's all it's about. None of us want to be depressed or angry or upset or frustrated. We don't want to live our lives that way. I get it all the time. That's what people comment on my TED Talk all of the time. I'm depressed. I can't get out of this. I'm so unhappy in my life. I'm trying everything. And it's like, you know what? Step away from that and find the ways towards your happiness rather than getting stuck in the repeated stories of, I'm not happy. I can't get out of this. I can't do it. I'm not saying it's going to solve clinical depression by any means. But what I do know is it moves you in the right direction and back to that lane that we're talking about. And the other cool thing, and it's what I love about what you do, is it unites us. It brings us together. It brings us together in community. It brings you closer to your neighbors. It brings you closer to your friends. And it ties us. And what we know about our world is, whether we like it or not, and it doesn't matter what our borders are, it doesn't matter what religion you practice, we are all united. We share one planet. We share one atmosphere. We're all in this together. If there's no more planet, we're just not here anymore. It's that simple. So when you come from that approach of, how can I work with everybody in our world? If you had told me when I started 365 Give as a personal parenting project with my son, has now touched literally millions of lives, I would have never have known that. But that's the ripple effect of giving and what it can have. Now, I have a big mouth, so I tell everybody about it. So it's rippled a little further than most. But, for all of us, that one little give, it ripples and ripples. So you might give back to somebody who's sleeping on the street in Vancouver, Canada, and who knows, a month from now, they're on a plane and somehow they're touching your life, John, where you are in Africa. And we don't know those connections that tie us all together, but that's how it can ripple, because we're all tied. We're on social media. What are you saying on social? Go out and do a post today about positivity and giving, go out and elevate somebody else. Because, and I said this to my son when I got on this, I said, you want to yell at me while I'm on this conversation with John? No problem, but the whole world's going to hear you. Because we don't know who we're talking to today. It could be one person, it could be 500 people, and this conversation could ripple to another 10,000 or 100,000. And we've just touched that many lives just from a conversation we're having.
Beautiful, beautiful. I really get touched with that, Jacqueline. And it's always great to understand and to get to know a new thing in life.
Yes.
Giving. I've always believed that giving is the most delicious thing.
Literally, that's the best description. I love that. It's delicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
It is
that.
the most delicious thing that you can have in your life. I've always believed that when you want more, have a heart and have an attitude of giving.
And you'll get
when you
more. I guarantee it. I don't know
yeah,
if you know this story. Can I tell you a really funny story?
yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is the best story. So I practiced giving for 365 days with my
Yeah.
son. And I always say, be careful how much you give, because you never know what you're going to get. Well, on day 365, so after 365 days of giving, it actually happened to be my son's 4th birthday. We started on his 3rd birthday. Our final day was on his 4th birthday. It was the day that my second son, who we adopted, came home. Now, I have no control over that day. That's like divine guidance. That's like a lot of people coming together. Nobody else knew about this day, but on day 365 was the day my second son came home, which is literally the miracle of life. And for a parent who was not able to have children, I adopted all my children. I can tell you right now, it was the most remarkable thing, where I literally stood back and went, Wow, you know, it was such a journey for me to give 365 days a week or a year. And it's like, wow, look what came back that I would have never, ever in a million years, you know, expected. And that was a beautiful little baby boy. We literally call him the 365 Give baby, because it's so beautiful how you can see when you put out, you know, it's a law of attraction, you know, it just comes back and it surprises you in the most beautiful, delicious, that's going to be my new word, most delicious ways that you can never imagine.
Exactly. That's what I believe. That a mind, a heart, a hand, and an
Yeah.
attitude that is built on giving receives much more than
Of
you let
you
out.
ever give. Absolutely. And you know, just the happiness that you get and the satisfaction and the reward of every day knowing that you're making a contribution towards a better, happier world. That's all you need. You know, 365 Give for me, it's our charity. People laugh at me because I volunteer all my time. I don't get paid to do 365 Give. We're all volunteers that come together to do this. And they're like, I can't believe how much work you put into 365 Give. I'm the volunteer executive director. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. It makes no difference to me if I got paid or not, because my motivation is so high. I'm so excited to get up every single day knowing that if I just touch one person, that I've made a difference in the world. And so to me, the value is not getting paid in anything that I do. The value is the happiness that I get in my own life, knowing I'm moving and I'm in my own lane and I'm moving towards my purpose of exactly why I'm here.
That's great, Jackie. And you know, when I launch about 365 Give, this at the same time there's a movement that you've been doing around, and that's One Nation, which is possibly
Yes.
an idea that was created in a foundation of bringing people together,
Together.
and
Hmm.
being being a word or a term of giving at the same time, because you know, when we talk of unity, I've always believed, and from my background, we were born and we were raised in a background where we knew that that having, you know, time to talk with you like we are talking now was very difficult. You know,
It
somebody
wouldn't
would,
have happened. Like it wouldn't
yeah,
happen.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's so hard. How do I even reach to them and talk to them, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, in such a way that when you come to a place, you come to a village, you'll find children lining up to look at you, and they're like,
Yeah,
so who's this? You know, you look like you're
exactly.
somebody else. You're not
From
part of
another
that.
planet. Exactly.
Yeah. And the same happens when, you know, I leave my place and I go to another place, and they're like, oh, so who's it? Who's
Yeah.
this? From which
Hmm.
planet is it from? You know,
Exactly.
some don't even believe such kind of people do exist.
Hmm. Yeah.
So One Nation, you know, talks about bringing people together, not
Yeah.
destroying the geographical boundaries, but
No.
creating a nation where people see themselves as a family. You know,
Hmm.
people seeing themselves as created by God and having the same Mother Earth and Father Heaven. You know,
Hmm.
so in terms of giving, how do you see this uniting people or uniting a society by giving? Because you can smile at someone and you make their day. You can, you know,
Yeah.
uh, spread the news like we are doing right now. We're just giving out to the society, and
Yeah.
it is what creates the One Nation part of it.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
what how do you feel, and how do you inspire people, and also, you know, advise them to understand that giving can create and can stop the racial discrimination that we've been seeing and experiencing
Oof.
throughout
Yeah.
so many years across the
Hundreds
world?
of years, right? Yeah. Well, you know, the really neat thing is, and like I said, when we started this, we never, you know, I had a dream to change the world, and I realized that with every life I touched, I was changing the world. But you know, we actually now have a global giving community. So through our website, we have created it's a free membership site that just gives you, it educates you, inspires you. You know, we cheer each other on. And the really amazing thing about it is that we have within our membership, we have 155 different countries that participate because there's no boundaries. There's no walls with giving. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what religion you practice. And if we looked at religion every single religion on our planet always has the practice of giving in it. So it doesn't matter to me if you're Christian, you believe in God, you have spiritual beliefs, you know, whoever you practice to, it makes no difference because we all have that thread that connects us all the way through. John, you can give if your skin is black. I can give if my skin is white. You can give if your skin is yellow. It actually makes no difference. So the really beautiful thing about giving is there are no like zero boundaries whatsoever. You know, it starts to shift your mind, and it starts to connect us in a different way that, you know, it's the one common, like nobody can debate about giving at all. There is no debate about, you know, I give more because I live in Africa, I give more because I'm in Hawaii. We can give the same amount. We can all give every day, and there's absolutely no boundaries, no borders. You know, we don't have to bring in politics into it. We don't have to, you know, bring money into it. Nothing. You know, it's that limitless act that does unite us, because it's something that's possible for absolutely every single human being on the planet from about the age you're 2 until the day that you die. And nobody can tell me that it's not possible. It doesn't matter if you're blind. It doesn't matter if you have no hands. It doesn't matter if you can't walk. It doesn't matter if you're in poverty, or it doesn't matter if you're super rich. We've worked with children in India that literally come from extreme poverty. These kids blew me out of the water. You know, they were making bags for their local grocery store out of old rag t-shirts that they bags. They collected scrap metal on the street to make little mini fidget spinners for their friends as a little give. They were watering plants, you know, they were picking up garbage. So, you know, it is possible for everybody, and there's no boundaries. And that's what I love about what 365 Give stands for and what One Nation stands for, is we are limitless. We stop putting those boundaries and expectations and all the limits that we create in our world and our leaders create in the world. No limit. There's no limit. It can be as little or as big as you want, and it's all equal, and it all means the same thing because it's coming from your heart. And that's what One Nation is about. It's all of us coming from our heart, and stop creating all of the, you know, you're this color, you're that religion, I'm better than you are, I can score more baskets, whatever. Like, really? Do we really, like, really? You know?
It's great to see you and to hear you say that,
Yeah,
Jackie. And because, you know, giving is the best kind of giving is giving that comes out of heart.
it
And
is.
and you know, sometimes it is great to remind people that at times you need to give even without people knowing.
Oh, completely. You don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah.
You'll still feel the same happiness giving when somebody don't knows. It's not about getting the recognition from anybody, but, by any means. You know, we've given. It was funny. My son yesterday, who's 7, he held the door open for somebody very purposefully. He did it as his 365 give. And the person actually said, no, no, it's okay. You go ahead. And he turned around to me and he said, Mommy, they didn't accept my 365 give. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you did it. And they weren't
Mhm.
nasty about it or anything else, but it was just the fact. I said, it's the fact that you put your heart energy out to do it. And that's what mattered, because it really made the other person smile that this little 6-year-old little boy is holding the door for him and his entire family to go through. And, you know, that was the part. And what most people don't know is that they can actually measure the energy that comes from our hearts now. So our hearts actually emit an energy, same with our brains. And our heart's energy emits, and you can physically see it because technology now emits so much more energy than our brains do. So when we get out of our brains and stop being and limiting ourselves, and we actually come from our heart, that energy goes out to the world. And that's what we talk about when it's law of attraction or it's putting energy out into the world. It's actually now science. You know, people can't just say it's, you know, whatever, woo-foo, whatever. It's actually science, and they can actually see the energy coming off of your body when you are giving from your heart.
Wow. That was a brilliant talk that we had there, Jackie. And I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you for the great things that you're doing around. And for those who would wish to watch the TEDx talk that Jackie did, I'll just post the link
No,
under
thank
this
you, darling.
sentence so that you
Thank
can
you.
go through it and see what Jackie talked about. It's a great thing, you know, listening to it, you know, take somebody from the hilltop into downstairs to just come and carry one stone and take upstairs. On
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a great thing that will motivate your day, will motivate your month or your
Thank
year.
you.
If you are somewhere and thinking about what to do with life,
Yeah,
because there's so many people around or across the world wondering what to do,
yeah.
just how
How
to
can
make
I?
life
How can I? Yeah,
beautiful, you
yeah.
know, and the things around us have been materialized such that we think that to make life so happy, we need a lot of money, we need a lot of resources, we need a lot of sponsorship, and we need a lot of great people to do this.
Yeah.
So, having such kind of talks, we get a lot of information on how we can create the difference and we can be happy around across the world.
Absolutely. And it really is that simple. We say, if everybody, 7 billion people did one thing to give back to the world every day, what a world it would be, everybody. What a world it would be. And it is that simple, and we know it's possible. And, if you watch my TED Talk, you'll see in it, and this was 2 years ago now, in that talk, you hear me talking about the schools that we touched. And at that time, and this is the power of the ripple, is in the TED Talk, we talk about, we had implemented our school program. One of the programs we have is a school program into 25 schools. And 2 years later, just our school program, and we have 5 other programs now, just our school program has gone from 25 schools to almost 300 schools globally in 2 years. And it's that simple. And that is the ripple that can happen with every life. That was one person, one mom getting up on a stage and having a conversation that created a ripple to now education is including a daily giving practice in their schools I think we're in 80 different countries globally. One person getting up and having a conversation about it. And that's really what it comes down to. So when we talk about the ripple effect of giving, that's what's possible. We have united people from all over the world just by one conversation.
365 give. And I would like
Thank you, my friend.
to welcome the audience, those who are watching this,
Oh,
that,
I'd love to. I'm
you
sorry I
know,
can't see everybody. Whoever is out there, thank you for joining us. We love having these live conversations because it's our chance to interact directly with you. So thank you for being with us today. It just means so much to me.
that's so great, Jackie. And I would like to also appeal to you who's watching this that it is your time tomorrow to wake up in the morning and do one give. You can water trees. You can, bring water to your mom or your dad. You can fetch some firewood. Those who are in Africa and you're using firewood to cook, you can go fetch firewood
Absolutely.
tomorrow. Parents, this is how to do one give across the world. And during my time. Currently, I live in Asia, in Bahrain. And when I was home, there's a time we used to go to church each and every month. And there was a time to give, and we could exchange clothes and, shoes
Yeah.
and whatever
Yeah.
you felt like, giving to your friends. So you could choose one person. Tomorrow I'll be giving to Jackie, and Jackie will
Absolutely.
be giving to me. So we could
Yeah.
carry our shoes and exchange. And
Absolutely.
we had light moments in church, and we had a community, a society, a family that was
That work
conjoined by.
together.
Yeah,
Right?
it lightened the church, it lightened the faces of people,
Yeah.
because when you go home, you're looking for your bag, you need to get it on, you need to put this clothes and fit yourself. And when I have a cloth that was given to me by you, I'll be seeing you in it. And
Absolutely.
people don't understand how to get connection
Yeah.
between each other, or amongst the society, is by just trying to get the things that other people are doing, get their clothes, exchange their clothes, drink their
Absolutely.
water, eat their food,
Swap
try
books.
the
Yeah, we
food
do
that
that.
they
There's so many
make.
simple
So,
things that we can do. Absolutely.
So, to wrap up our conversation, Jackie, I would like to just let you have that parting shot that our audience will go with. There are those who are preparing now to go to bed. There are those who've just woken up and they're preparing to have their breakfast. There are those who are in the middle of the day and they could be driving. It's a
Yeah.
long traffic. People have a lot of, uh, 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 problems along the
Absolutely.
road. So one parting shot, somebody could be watching this and driving, and he's wondering when the traffic will cool down so he can reach home.
Absolutely.
What are you going to tell them, Jackie?
I have 3 very simple words that you just need to remember: impact, happiness, ripple. Just keep saying those to yourself: impact, happiness, ripple. When you make an impact, you increase your personal happiness, you increase another person's happiness, and that ripple will spread further than you will ever know. So that's all the 3 words you ever have to keep telling yourself. Tell them yourself before you go to bed. Say it when you wake up in the morning. Impact, happiness, ripple. Because that's how we will change the world together.
Definitely, that's what's going to change the world, Jackie. And before I leave, I would just like to know, how can somebody be part of 365 Give, Jackie?
Super easy. You know what? You can go to our website, 365give. It's .ca. We are Canadian. And when you go in there, it's super easy. You will see, we guide you very easily. You can sign up as an individual. You can sign up as a family. You can sign up as a school. We kind of give you some guiding direction through it. It's really about empowering yourself. It's empowering your world, taking a look around your world. And we've got some really useful tools that will help you get started. And that's the big thing, is just helping you get started, getting into your groove, creating that daily happiness habit. And that's what we're there to do. It doesn't cost anything. It's free for everybody, because that's the way that we're contributing to the world. So just go and sign up, and you'll get ideas into your mailbox. We've got more blogs about daily giving than you could ever imagine. Ideas nonstop flow to us, and you just become part of that community along with us. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on just about everywhere. And we're really there to just inspire and educate your heart and your mind.
That's so great, Jackie, and it was nice having you. It's a great
So
morning.
great person time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's great, and it was an excellent job that you did here, Jackie. And I know those who are watching, you can see they are writing a lot of great things over there. It's a great conversation.
Oh, thank
We
you.
love what you're doing. So it's great. You know that you're doing a great thing when you can touch someone's life, and it's never about touching lives. It is
It's
about
not. It's
touching a
always
life.
one every day.
Just
Just one. That's always has
just
to be a goal. It's just one. And whether it's a life, it's our planet, it's an animal, it all counts. It's just, how do you touch one living thing every day?
beautiful. So the last thing that you'll do for me, Jackie, when this talk is done, kindly comment on the section with a link
You
that
bet.
we can use to join 365 Give, so that those who would wish to sign up and
Yep.
do what you're doing across the world can get it so easily, Jackie.
Beautiful. Thank you, John. You know, this time is overdue, and I'm so glad. Like I said, I feel like you're a brother already, even though this is the first time we've had one-on-one time like this. And you are a gift to the world, my friend. And thank you for allowing all of us to have a voice with you.
You're wonderful as well, Jackie. And we've been communicating and conversing on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
but we've never had this opportunity to have a one-on-one talk. And it was a great one. We had the best time, and we produced the best that we can give to the world.
We
And
can.
that's
We did.
what exactly is needed out of us.
Check. We did our 365 gift for the day.
Yeah, we've done.
Doom.
The day is marked, and we can go in on our calendars and
Exactly.
put a tick.
Exactly.
The day is done. So thank you so much, and do have a great day, and pass my
I
regards to
will.
family
Thank you.
and to friends in Vancouver.
Okay. Thank you, my friend, and we will see you soon.
See you
Bye,
soon.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in.